revenue wise, the first 6 months, it had to have been on average somewhere between 10 and 20 grand a month. Fast forward the clock, we're 12 months into it. We've crossed 100K a month. We're about to close out our second back-to-back over 100K a month.
And what were, like, before you started working with us, what was kind of like a challenge? What were the challenges you had? What were you trying? Did you have any like frustrations?
Yeah, I can go into this. So when I first started hey, let's try and market this info and coaching business, I originally went with even before I started the coaching business, I had a strategy where I was basically going to build a local audience on Twitter through content about how I run my business. Now, that is a good thing and a bad thing, and I'll explain why, and then why you guys made a lot of sense to me in that decision. I thought it was great in terms of building trust with people who already had a business. I think, yes, there's a lot of local authority, but the problem is, even when you're doing that, if you don't know how to write particular types of copy, you're just going to keep essentially serving the same audience over and over and over again and not actually bring anyone into your awareness, right? So you're essentially like a little small circle, and you continue to be really valuable to that small circle, which is good in some regards because I got my first couple people that way. But then when it's time to go from like one to many, so to speak, you're going to find that it's very challenging. So if you don't know, if you haven't written a lot of copy, you don't have a lot of experience, you don't really know what it's like to run a top of funnel all the way to a bottom of funnel copywriting strategy, you're going to struggle. So I went to Marcos for that. Essentially, I basically was like, hey, like, I don't know how to grow the top of my awareness, right? I don't know how to get more eyeballs on this, and I need someone to help me out with that. And his agency essentially does it all for you. So you've got essentially a funnel being created from Marcos of how do I nurture these leads and turn them into actual clients. So you may need to learn how to DM set, or you may need to learn how to hire, source, and manage a DM setter. So those can vary in time, with the latter being much more efficient, right? Because you're getting help doing that, and Marcos helps you with that as well, with playbooks and sourcing. So like even that, like, yes, you should do maybe the DM setting in the beginning, but very quickly, like, you're out of that and already saving more time. So I'd say when you're at that, call it phase 1, phase 2 transition, like, your hours are dramatically going down. Like, we're talking about, you're not writing copy anymore. You're not, managing like comments, likes, DMs, and all that anymore. So 1 hour a week max. And that's really just to try and manage the person who's executing that and be available for them if they have questions about you specifically, since it is somewhat intertied to your personal brand.
Love that. Is there anything that like surprised you about our service? And like, did you have any misconceptions before starting when you reached out?
I think the part that surprised, I don't know, you said it a bunch about how quickly things can change, but I think like the part that surprised me was how quickly things can change. I think like there's a point on everyone's kind of journey of this where there is somewhat of a glass ceiling that needs to be broken, whether that's, hey, I haven't gone viral yet, or, hey, I haven't broke this follower count, whatever the KPI is. But there is, at least in my experience, there is an inflection point where digital authority gets established, and if you can cross it, it changes things. And it changed my business. I think, I don't remember what month it was, but once it changed, I have not looked back since that moment.
There was a point where I was like, don't worry, like, we're going to go from gaining 500-600 followers a month to like a couple thousand, and your close rate to go up, and you're going to go viral. And you were like, okay, like it was just agency talk. And then eventually like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He was serious.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing, that if you can, like, but you have to understand too, like, you can't expect to be getting everything overnight either. So I actually had a pretty patient outlook on this whole process, which I think actually helped me see it through, deal with some of it, because like, you're still going to have bumps in the road. So you want to have a long-term mindset when you sign up for Marcos's stuff. It's not, if you're going to come here and think that he's going to solve a pretty huge awareness issue you're going to come with him with overnight, I think that's a mismanaged expectation on the client side, whoever's coming to you. And I think for me, like, I didn't have that intention. So it allowed me to see things through, instead of like, I think the agency world, you see people just like try someone out, churn out really quick, and they don't see results and they complain. It's like, well, hold on a second. Like, you weren't even patient through what is like a multi-month thing that needs to get actually started to you even see results. So that was the key, I think, for me. If I look back on like why I'm here, is I was patient enough to see things through, and it all kind of came together.
Because you really did come in with like, you didn't have any brand, you had no personal
nothing,
brand, no name. Like, it wasn't like you came in with this Instagram following or this YouTube following to piggyback off of. It was like literally just bare bones. For anyone, if you got this far in the interview and you're like, well, why is the voice changed? It's because we don't want to give you the secret. The point is that we run it up to 10 mil plus and not give it all away, everything we're doing, right? Awesome, man. And then the last thing is really just, if someone's on the fence about working with us, what would you tell them, and how likely would you be to recommend us?
Yeah, I've already recommended them. So on the recommendation side, I basically actively do it if anyone's interested in getting into this kind of thing. So my recommendation is a 10 out of 10. In terms of if you're on the fence, I think you need to start like the way that I looked at it was you got to kind of look at what is the upside at play here. And I think if you're in the info space, coaching space, like the upside is tremendous. And you have to take advantage of these opportunities. Otherwise, like someone else is going to do the same thing here. That's a direct competitor of you. So not only is it the risk to reward spectrum to me was always skewed and asymmetrical. The other thing is like, you want to be cognizant of what other people are doing because you want to be the leader of, this social media platform, that social media platform. Like it matters, like when you're the number 1 versus the number 5, the number 1 is like a 10x winner. So making bets to try and be that person, like to me, it always is going to pay off. And if you're on the fence, like he's literally the best in the space. So
yes. And if you are someone that wants to work with us and you're not in the niche of the person that I'm interviewing right now, we will scale you up. If you are, I'm just going to be like, sorry, brother.
Sorry.